One of my viewers donated 11 games at once! I mean, holy shit! I guess I'll play them all then. All 11 of the donated games are from Ensenasoft, a developer that I've never heard of before, probably because they aren't assholes who try to silence critics and sue people. At least, not that I know of. At least, not yet. I'll tell you right now that there are 3 common themes across Ensenasoft's library, or at least among the games that I've played. 1, most of their games are blatant copies of other games, and not topical or popular ones. They're clones of old as dirt games that you can find a million places for free. 2, most of their games are completely stripped of any extra or non-essential features, making them immediately inferior to the games they're ripping off. And 3, the controls suck ass! It's blatantly obvious that every game in this video was designed for mobile devices and lazily ported to Steam, and most of them have glaring control and design flaws as a result. So they want you to shell out several bucks for blatantly inferior versions of games you've already played for free. So let's dig in then! First game, Bale of Bunny, asking price $3. This is a side-scrolling platformer. You run left and right jumping, picking up coins, and in each level you find a key and take it to a treasure chest. How could you go wrong? How about the fact that this damn bunny never stops moving and the controls are completely crippled as a result? For some unfathomable reason, once you press left or right a single time, it becomes physically impossible to get this damn ADHD bunny to sit still. She never stops running, and the lack of control screws the controls so badly that doing basic tasks is made ridiculously hard. Like this early level where you need to jump onto a box and you can barely make the jump because you have to get the arc just right while constantly moving, plus the levels are full of jumps that are easy to overshoot and die because you have zero control over your jumping arc. Didn't Super Mario Bros. Definitively show how to make these games almost 3 decades ago? How do you screw up a basic side-scroller this badly? What were they thinking? This review is off to a great start, isn't it? Next game, Chess Night 2, asking price $5. This is a really basic chess game. There are 4 AI difficulties, you pick a level, and you start playing. There's no online mode, and I'm the most staunchly anti-online gaming player that you can imagine, but in this day and age, there's really no reason to make a chess game on a PC that has no online mode. The game is set up so that you're always the white pieces, which is a set of cartoony knights, and the AI is always black, which is a set of pirates and aliens. Methinks they couldn't find the pre-made assets for a cohesive set. It comes complete with exactly 1 crappy music track and exactly 1 background for the board. You can change the pieces over to the normal chess set, but for some reason, doing so drops the frame rate to 6 frames per second, and the animations and mouse cursor have a full 1 second lag to them. There is no reason a chess game should run this badly. My computer is making straining noises like it's running Arkham City. Also, pretty much every chess game made in the last few decades has animations for when one piece takes another. Here, the pieces just vanish with a bonk sound. I found the first 3 AIs to be pretty easy, and I am not a skilled chess player. The main problem is the AI refuses to make sacrifice plays, meaning it's easy to trick the AI into stalling while you maneuver around the board. The AI will completely abandon pieces it can't save and leave them wide open, and the AI tends to melt down and mass suicide its pieces if you put it into check. For real, I got a completely free kill on the AI's queen because it threw the queen out as a human shield to get out of check when there were 3 spaces it could have just moved its king out of the way. But the 4th AI is so much smarter, it feels like you're playing a completely different game. It whoops my ass every time I've played it. All in all, it's not a great chess program. There's a million better chess games, and I don't think the AI would be a decent challenge to a real chess player. But to your typical player, it's functional? Next game, Dessert Storm, asking price $2. Yeah, that mascot wasn't stolen from Cars or anything. Looks exactly like the Pixar characters. This game is Candy Crush. It's Candy Crush and Bejeweled and every single damn swap pieces to match them, a puzzle game that's been done a million times. It's not even a good version because Bejeweled and most games of this style have bonus pieces that destroy multiple pieces at once, and this game doesn't have those. A slapped together piece of crap cynically trying to cash in on the Candy Crush obsession. It's not bad, it's just mediocre in comparison to a shit ton of games you can play for free. Next game, Fantastic Checkers 2, asking price $2. Anybody else starting to notice these games all have the same main menu? This is the exact same setup as the chess game. No online mode, 1 shitty music track, 1 background, bland pieces that barely look like they go together. I swear the developers were actively trying to see how badly they could screw up a simple game. The default camera angle is so flat to the board you can't see a damn thing no matter how you rotate it, and the overhead camera angle, for some brain-dead reason, rotates the board 90 degrees from how everyone everywhere ever has ever looked at a chessboard. You also can't rotate this board about the z-axis, but you can rotate it in the xy direction and flip the board over so that you can't see anything. It's so disorienting, the easiest AI whooped my ass my first time playing. The real deal breaker in this game is that it doesn't have forced jumps. In most checkers games, if you can jump a piece, you have to, and the game kind of breaks if you take out this rule. Check out the left side of the board. Because I'm not being forced to jump pieces, I haven't moved any of my rearmost pieces from their starting points. Because I haven't moved my rearmost pieces, the AI can't get kings. Without kings, the AI can't do anything except advance until it runs out of moves. If it runs out of moves, I win. So unless you suck and lose the rest of your pieces, you have a really broken way to easily win most games. You know, I don't often have the urge to play frickin' checkers in a video game, but if I did, there's gotta be about 1 million checkers games that actually have the rules correct, and it's gotta be better than shelling out $2 for this. Mahjong Deluxe 2 Astral Planes, asking price $3. A lot of sequels to games you've never heard of, huh? You rotate a 3D set of tiles looking for matches. It's like Taipei, that game that came free on my Windows 95 computer. Only stupid. There are so few pieces that any strategy you'd find in real Mahjong is thrown out the window. It's just clicking matches with no thought process. Slowly rotating this display to find matches is just tedious. It adds nothing but pointless, crappy controls. Plus there's only 84 boards, all of which are way too simple to be stimulating. Again, it's a shitty version of a game you could play for free. Ludo Supremo, asking price $3. Tap on dice to start the game. Tap, 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 tap. It's a dirt simple board game where you roll dice to try and get all your pieces to the end. That is the full extent of the gameplay. There's not even any interesting art to look at. It's just a plain empty board. Why did this need to be a video game on Steam? I have no idea! Minigolf Mundo, asking price $5. This is your basic mini golf game. There are 4 courses with 18 holes apiece, and you can play locally with up to 4 players. It looks nice and it runs smoothly, but it's missing a lot of basic features you'll find in other golf games. It doesn't display scores or what stroke you're on. You can't look at the entire course at once. You have no idea where your ball will go with any amount of strength, and the presentation is really bare bones. The courses are statistically designed with a ton of huge jumps where you have no idea how hard you need to hit the ball. Most of the courses are pure trial and error as you whack the ball over and over until it makes a jump. The last set of courses adds teleporting portals, which is kind of a nice touch, but it just makes understanding the course's layout even more difficult. As a local party game, I guess it might be okay, but as a single-player game, you'll get bored with it almost immediately. This is another game that doesn't need to be on Steam. Pei Porcupine, asking price $3. You push blocks onto the indicated squares. The second set of courses are actually pretty stimulating puzzles. There's just one problem with the game. The controls suck ass! You can move using the WASD and arrow keys, and it takes about a full second for the game to respawn if it acknowledges that you press the button at all, and you can only move 1 square at a time because the game thinks you give a shit about how many moves you take. The beyond clunky controls take a game so simple it should be impossible to screw up and make it a tedious chore. Puzzles Under the Hill, asking price $3. Are you kidding me? Jigsaw puzzles that have the puzzle piece outlines clearly drawn and you don't even have to rotate the pieces. This is a game for babies. The Hidden Dragon, asking price $5. It's I Spy. It's another one of those generic-ass find the hidden objects games, and I swear they invented new ways to screw up one of the oldest and simplest games in history. The game only has 9 levels, each of them is recycled 10 times, and each level has a ridiculous time limit. You aren't given any time to actually look for items. If you don't find every object the game is asking for within seconds of one another, you have to replay the level. Despite there being plenty of room on the screen, only 4 of the 8 objects are listed at any any given time, and I swear to God the 3-star rankings are completely impossible unless you find and click every single object instantaneously. Several of the objects are explicitly designed to blend into the scenery and be impossible to find. Look at this fly here. How the hell was I supposed to spot that? It's all just a cruel trap. You fail a level if you spend more than a few seconds looking for any one of the items, and they keep throwing in items that are impossible to see. The time limits are so short, it gets to the point you just have to replay every screen until you've memorized where all of the items can spawn. But now it's time for some audience participation. I'm going to pause the video right here. The only item I still have to find in this level is an arrow. Go on, pause the game and try to find the arrow. I am not kidding. Dead serious, pause this video and don't push play until you either find that arrow or you concede defeat. Have you found the arrow yet? Okay, let's use the game's hint system and find out where that arrow is. Are you f***ing kidding me? It was hiding behind the f***ing heads-up display! What kind of amateur hour design school flunk-out bullshit is that? You know, I'm kind of impressed, actually. It shouldn't be physically possible to fail this badly at making a game this simple! And they charge $5 for this bullshit! Screw you! One last game that was donated, Murder Mystery Adventure. I saved this game for last because this was the one game sent to me that seemed like, an actual game, and they charge $8 for this, so maybe this was the one game where they finally buckled down and actually made something worth playing. This is a point-and-click adventure game where you walk around a suspiciously familiar mansion. I recognize this place! This is the pre-made Unity asset mansion from Art of Stealth, this crappy stealth game Jim Sterling played that got pulled from Steam because the developer was a dick. It's the same mansion. I'm guessing all of Ensenasoft's games are built out of pre-made assets between the mismatched chess sets and the creepy-looking character models, but this is the game where it really becomes a problem. There's a ton of objects that look like you should be able to click on them, but you can't. There's a few rooms that look like you should be able to enter them, but you can't. They're only there because they came packaged with the pre-made mansion. Half the suspects look like they're from entirely different games. You've got this olden times mansion, and there's a lady in a ninja outfit, and a guy with a blindfold and goggles on over the blindfold who looks like he's trying to cosplay a Solid Snake. There's also creepy-ass teddy bears, this possessed doll that doesn't seem to do anything, and a weird-ass Jack-in-the-Box that have such noticeably different art styles they obviously don't belong in this environment. The game is kind of like single-player Clue. The mansion has 8 rooms, each has a murder weapon and a suspect. Each suspect tells you who they were with at the time of the murder. You have to figure out who killed the victim, which murder weapon was used, and find a bloodstain to determine where the victim was killed. Along the way, you solve a few simple puzzles, such as rewiring the mansion's telephones and using a stethoscope to open a vault and find the victim's will. It all sounds pretty simple, right? Well, it is. If not for Ensenasoft doing everything in its power to make this the most annoying game in existence in typical Ensenasoft fashion. Most of the murder weapons camouflage in with the environment to where you find them on complete accident. The puzzles are so poorly explained it takes a few tries just to figure out what your goal even is, and there's no story whatsoever. None of the suspects say anything except a one-sentence alibi. You don't even find out the victim's name until you read the will. Apparently, I'm solving the murder of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who died of a heart attack. At least that's what his Wikipedia page says. I'll just correct that real quick. Died when Solid Snake ran him through with a broadsword in his kitchen. The biggest problem is that you just have absolutely no idea what you can click on. The game doesn't have a hardware cursor like most point-and-click games. The mouse does not light up whenever it's over something you can click, and there's zero indication of what you can interact with. So if you get lost or need to find an item, your only option is to tediously start clicking on every damn pixel in every damn room, hoping eventually you'll stumble across something by accident. This really drives you crazy because the game world is not very big, and the rooms are full of objects that look like they should do something. So when you get lost, you just start clicking the same few items in the same small handful of rooms you've already been to 3 or 4 times, going crazy as you just hope you'll luck out and something will finally happen. What really drove me up the wall is that 3 of the 8 rooms are locked and you need all of the rooms to solve the crime. The first key is basically given to you, but I spent hours, literal hours, searching every room top to bottom, pixel by pixel, a dozen times, looking for the other 2 keys! I even started the game over hoping the keys would spawn somewhere else, but keys and puzzle elements are always in the same locations. What's cruel is the game gives you lockpicks for winning a fakey made-up card game, but the lockpicks do not open the locked doors. They're just a cock tease that's only used to solve one of the last puzzles in the game, and you'll have to play this card game a lot because said puzzle is designed to eat the picks. Can I just say the game's puzzles make no sense? This one dude refuses to give you his alibi unless you solve a marble solitaire board. This lady only gives you lockpicks if you beat her at a children's card game.
I'll tell you what happened on the night of the murder, but you gotta do something for me first. You have to solve my Darth Maul Rubik's Cube. It's been this way for 15 years. It's really driving me crazy.
Eventually, I find on the game's forums that somebody found a binary puzzle in the library, and by sheer luck, I found a scrap of paper with a code. All you have to do to start the puzzle is click the right book. The right book. In all this pixelated mess. This isn't even a needle in a haystack. This is a needle in a stack of needles without even having the first clue that you're looking for a needle in the first place. Gonna take a guess where you're supposed to click? It's these books down here. Obvious, right? But here's the big punchline to the great big joke that is this game. After spending hours traipsing around this mansion, I finally found all the keys, got enough lockpicks, solved all the puzzles, and I had all of the evidence. I figured out that Lord Rain is the killer because none of the other characters supported his alibi. I knew the pickaxe was the murder weapon because it was the only weapon in the game that I couldn't find, and I saw some weird white stains on the floor of the kitchen that I guessed were supposed to be the bloodstains. So I entered in my official guess. Lord Rain killed him in the kitchen with a pickaxe. I enter in my guess, and it's wrong. Sorry, you were wrong in your suspicions. The murder was actually committed by Lord Rain in the kitchen with the pickaxe. I f***ing said that! Yep, the game rejects correct answers. The game is unwinnable because even if you solve the mystery, you're still wrong. I am honestly not surprised. You only get one guess at the solution, by the way. If you get the weapon, location, or suspect wrong, or if the game rejects the correct solution, your save is immediately wiped forever, and you have to start over. Kiss my ass. So those were the games of Ensenasoft. Ridiculously lazily made games riddled with problems designed by chuckleheads that have no business being on a PC. So, just another day on Steam.